put that out there. Everything that TikTok sort of encourages you to do as a creator is kind of antithetical to making sure that you're presenting a complete nuanced take on whatever situation you're talking about. Now, that does not mean there's anything wrong with using the app itself, obviously. If like you're on TikTok and you see, people are mad because McDonald's started releasing peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and then you independently kind of look into that yourself and you have this opinion. Okay, yeah, you got your news from TikTok. That's not a bad thing. But if the only thing you're reacting to is just some faceless person telling you in 30 seconds that you should be mad, I don't think that's encouraging smart behavior. And I think the whole outrage tourism model is kind of replicating what TikTok does for just a brief period of time. Here's this thing that people hate. Here's this thing that people hate. Here's this thing that people hate. And it's like, I don't think that makes any sense when it's not contextual. Again, I know it may sound like, but you know, I keep disclaiming everything because, as I said, that video kind of rocked me. But one of the main things I'm going to stop doing is disclaiming everything. I know that the point I'm making makes sense. And I know that there are at least some people who will understand what I'm saying. So if you don't, I don't care. If you hate what I'm saying in this video, just move on with your life. I promise you will both be happier. But if you hate what I'm saying in this video, you are probably... do I even have to say it? The exact person I'm talking about, let's be real. And it's not just the 30 seconds at a time thing. I think TikTok also encourages people to be mad at other people for not knowing things. I noticed that's a big thing on TikTok is like, you want to be in the in crowd. You want to know what all the memes mean at all times. 6'7", what's that mean? No one actually knows, but we're all going to act like we know. That's what was happening with Brigitte Bardot. We're all going to act like we kind of knew this, and all these celebrities are dumb for not knowing this. Oh, that's what was happening with the Starbucks video. We're all going to be like, well, there's this other thing that we all know about and you didn't mention it, so you may actually be a Zionist. Or as that other comment said, you might be a dope or subliterate. You know what I mean? I don't understand how this turns into, let's actually attack people for not talking about things, not knowing things, or even agreeing with us, but not using the exact words that we want you to. And when you combine all of this with the fact that I don't know why, but people who have this hyper modern approach to consuming content, which is across all platforms, it's not only on TikTok, I just sort of attribute it to it. They do not understand that multiple things can be true. Yes, boycotts against Israel are hurting Starbucks and McDonald's sales worldwide. That is true. It is also true in my video, as I said, that prices are going up at these places at an insane rate that the average consumer is just noping out of. Quote, many customers have gotten frustrated with price increases at fast food restaurants, which means they're going to casual dining restaurants like Chili's. McDonald's is trying to lure them back by cutting prices. Multiple things can be true. Brigitte Bardot was racist. She was also kind of iconic. I can say something in a video that strikes you as odd because I didn't explain it properly, or maybe you didn't interpret it properly, and still not be Satan incarnate. I felt like I worked really hard to create a safe space for people on my channel where, like, if you're in the LGBT community, you're not going to click in and hope I don't call you a slur. Yeah, you know, if you're a woman watching, I hope you're not going to click in and assume like I'm just going to start spouting red pill nonsense at you because I secretly believe this. And the reason I am able to, I think, try to be cognizant of multiple points of view watching my videos is because I used to read a lot of comments. But reading a lot of comments, when you have this influx of commenters coming in that are just saying the dumbest stuff I've ever heard of, it almost turned into a game where every single time I would post a video, I would be like, okay, let's see how this gets misinterpreted. This thing that I said or did not say is going to be taken out of context this way. And then it would happen. Or then sometimes it would happen in ways that I could never have predicted. And I thought that if I just kept looking at what stupid people were saying about my videos, I would be able to stupid proof them to the point where this wouldn't happen anymore. And it might sound kind of easy to say like, well, just ignore the haters, bro, which I guess I sort of agree with, but I'm just not the kind of person who can ignore people calling me a genocide supporter. You know what I mean? If you want to say that you think I'm a dope, that's fine. But it's weird how people will use the language of morality to disagree with people nowadays. It's not enough to be like, oh, well, I don't know. I just think that you could have done this video in a way that made more sense. It has to be, here's a moral argument for why your choice was wrong and I am right. People do that a lot and they're just really loud about it. So I say all of this to say something had to change. I realized like I can't keep doing this because like to the average viewer, it might not even seem like anything is happening here since I'm not actually responding to these dumb comments in my videos. But I was getting so worn down. I was losing so much of my confidence. I'm not embarrassed to say it. I was getting honestly kind of depressed over being constantly misunderstood, when again, I feel like this is the one thing I was sort of good at. And that's why I took a break. I don't think me making content when content is kind of depressing me makes sense, because then it turns into not good content, right? But I wasn't about to let stupid people win either. You know what I mean? I think usually in the past when I've gotten depressed, I'm okay with it. I'm like, hey, I can't control my brain. I just work with it to the best of my ability. I take responsibility for my actions. It's my responsibility to make sure that I'm not allowing me being depressed to turn into me being hateful in my videos or making people feel bad or whatever. But this time I was like, nah, no, what is going on here? This doesn't make any sense. And I know that there is probably a way where I can get the best of both worlds here. I'm not going to read every comment. I mean, I wasn't reading every comment I got, obviously. I get a lot of comments, thanks guys. But I'm not even going to be reading like the bulk of the comments that I'm getting anymore, because I don't know who those are coming from. I really, truly don't. Actually, I do. I do know who they're coming from. And I don't like those people. They were never a part of my like content strategy, if I can use a really annoying word there. I do think that there are a lot of commentary creators whose content strategy is to cater towards TikTok people. And they kind of just like glean the right opinion from the comments beforehand and then just say that in their video, and that's the content. And then you get so many people, you know, hyping you up and agreeing with you and giving you the social capital for having the correct opinion. And I'm like, have fun, I guess. But that was never why I was making videos. But that was sort of what it felt like I had to turn into if I wanted to avoid this problem. But then I finally settled on what I think personally is a really great solution. I am going to continue uploading videos, multiple videos a week actually, but I'm going to record them live in front of a studio audience. Not in front of a studio audience, just here live on the channel. Many of you saw my live stream yesterday and had fun there. I had fun. I had a blast. The people there seemed to have a blast, or maybe they were all being held hostage by me. Either way, it worked for me, and that's the main thing I'm looking for. I am creating a new environment for myself where I have people reacting to what I'm saying in real time, actually. So, for example, if I'm on a live stream and then I say, oh, Brigitte Bardot, rest in peace icon, you can say, oh, you might want to peek at that Wikipedia page a little harder. And then that is when I, a human being, with a human brain that is not perfect and not all knowing, can then look at that Wikipedia and on my stream be like, whoa, not one of the final bosses of racism. Okay, don't rest in something. I can't say what here on YouTube, but oh my God, if I'm making a video about Starbucks and you're like, hey, D'Angelo, what do you think about the boycotts on Starbucks? That's my chance to be like, oh, I have many opinions actually about boycotting and its efficacy. Boycotting is a good thing that we should be doing. I can tell you right then and there, honestly, the majority of my outline, because I was talking about multiple things, it's mostly focusing on these other aspects of why Starbucks is crashing and burning. But yeah, free Palestine. You know, I can do that in an environment where it's not just me crossing my fingers and hoping that each little TikTok-sized portion of my video is not going to get misinterpreted and essentially get me in a bunch of trouble with people who should not be listened to in the first place. I want to have fun making content, okay? I have fun making commentary videos. You have fun watching them. But when I also had that anxiety of like, yes, in a few hours, people will be watching this and they may not be listening to what I'm saying. And this might be even worse than the Starbucks scenario. I sat down to record and started getting panic attacks, y'all. It's not good. I should not have to push through panic attacks to make content about things that are happening online. And I personally don't think I was overreacting. I don't think it's an overreaction to panic because you don't want people to essentially call you everything that you disagree with in your heart of hearts. So yeah, y'all ain't finna win. I'm not going anywhere, and I'm not going to change my opinions to make sure I'm saying everything the exact way you want me to say it. You don't like something I said? Clock me in that live stream, because I grow, as I've mentioned, from people sharing their opinions and their perspectives. And then if you are not a live stream enjoyer, which is fine, by the way, for you, it's almost like nothing will change because you're just still going to get videos like this. The only difference is there will be a chat off to the side that sometimes I'll be reacting to. Honestly, I'm kind of psyched about this as a plan because I feel like the streams are going to be really fun. I feel like the videos are going to be really fun. I'm kind of getting back to the heart of why I started this channel in the first place, which is literally just talking about stuff. It should not be a PR game, and I refuse to play it. It doesn't make any sense. Now, as for my commenters, I'm still going to read your comments, but like within reason. I'm going to read the top comments. I'm going to make sure I'm aware of what people are saying. You know what I mean? I cannot open the tap to any and everything anyone has to say while convincing myself it's somehow for my own good, when many of the people commenting are doing so maliciously because a lot of the people watching videos are dumb now. There's probably a better way I could have explained all this. There are probably 50 million analogies or ways I could have made this point. I could have used AI to optimize my point into something that nobody could have misunderstood, but I'm not interested in that because I'm a real person making videos. So on the one hand, I want to be treated like a person and not an opinion factory that, yeah, you just start hitting it with a stick when it spits out the wrong opinion. But I also want to make some mistakes. I want to get some things wrong. I want to not know about some things and learn about them in real time. And I want that to be content. I want TikTok people to click into my videos and see me learn and grow. I think that's going to do a lot more for everyone than whatever game I thought I could win last year. 2024. Yeah, I wasn't winning until now though. Because in the end, that's the thing. In the end, it's always going to be me grinding. That's the thing. You know, this platform could have no people left. There could be 5 people watching youtube.com and I would still be posting videos because I love doing this. It was this or like, y'all don't want to know what the or like was. It wasn't good. So I take it very seriously. I'm so grateful for your support. And also, I wasn't even scared to take as much time as I needed to think about all these things and process all these things because I knew that the people who I'm actually making videos for, they will wait. And when it's time to pop off and do our thing, they will be there. So thank you for being there. And I can't wait to see you. Oh, wait, hold on. I didn't tell you my schedule. So I don't have a schedule. You should know that by now. Like, be so for real. But in a perfect world, I would stream on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 12 p.m. EST. So if it's 12 p.m. on a Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday, you can go look and see if I'm streaming. And if I'm not, you're like, oh, nah, I knew he wasn't going to stick to. Yeah, me too. That's why I said this is not a schedule. I essentially wouldn't be streaming outside of those times. So just check those times. And then as for the actual videos that I'm going to create from those live streams by editing them down into this format, which you're all used to, I'll just be posting the normal videos for however many streams I had that week. So hopefully multiple videos a week, 3 times, you know, 3 streams, 3 videos. I feel like it's going to go really well, but there's only one way to find out and I'm psyched to find out. So thank you. And it's just so nice to want to make content again. Yay, bye. I can't believe how racist she was. Oh my god.
This damn grocery store got its own page in Vogue. Can a meteor just please wipe us out? This is because Erewhon is directly connected to celebrity influencer culture. Yes, a grocery store. The trendy food destination was born as a health-focused organic grocery store during the 1960s. But Erewhon's current form only took shape during the last decade. Since new ownership took over in 2011, the grocer has expanded across the wealthiest LA enclaves, transforming from granola to glam and cultivating a fandom that includes big name actors and influencers. Usually when it comes to places excluding poor, gross, ugly people, you know, only being open to rich, pretty people would usually be okay in society if it was like a purse store or a clothing store. They exist everywhere. However, this is now extending to food, something that we need, a necessity. You need food to survive. You can't eat a Birkin. So because of the lavish lifestyle associated with Erewhon, the prices are literally insane, to the point where I don't understand how it's not illegal. Roasted cauliflower can easily run up to $20 a pound. And this is all over TikTok, not only as people are criticizing the prices.
Today we're going to be guessing the price of groceries at the most expensive supermarket in America, Erewhon. Potatoes, one of the cheapest carb sources on the planet, $25?
But some people are just showing off the fact that they can shop there, and that makes them better than you.
I just had the most fun I've ever had at a grocery store, so let me give you guys a haul, because this store is awesome.
There is something really weird going on in the world where showing off wealth is no longer new shoes or a new car. We are literally going backwards, where food is now considered a luxury. What is this, the 1800s? There is a TikToker by the name of Kfesteria. Don't know how to say that. She made a TikTok that kind of touches on this topic, specifically the Kardashians and how wasteful they are with food, simply just to look luxurious.
And this is a bouquet of flowers that she either received or ordered, and they literally have oranges in it. Cut up oranges. And so this is obviously not being eaten in any way, shape, or form. It is a bouquet that is sitting out on a table for show.
There's something so dystopian about that. Like, even just talking about it makes my tummy drop. Like, it kind of makes me want to cry. Oh my god, am I gonna cry? Stop. No, I'm not. Because you know who should be crying? These influencers who don't understand that they too are also being exploited. There is literally no difference between an affordable organic store and Erewhon, as they both provide healthy foods. Literally the only difference is that Erewhon offers you status. Status is literally not real. It can be sold and attached to anything. It reminds me of that one social experiment that went viral a long time ago of the fake high-end shoe store.
Guests invited to check out what looked like a luxury shoe shop. A $35 shoe going for $645, an 1,800% markup. Store owners sat on their heels as fashion influencers emptied their wallets.
These are actually from Payless. You've got to be kidding me.
As long as a company can sell you the narrative that something will make you stand out from the normies, then you'll always have an audience of people who are looking for status. People who shop at Erewhon are not only trying to convey the message that, hey, look at me, I can shop somewhere that gives me status, but I can also afford health. You know, health and wealth historically are so deeply intertwined. Health in itself is a luxury. And what's crazy is that companies are making it so that to be healthy, you have to pay more. Even before the whole inflation thing that is happening right now, organic food and healthy options in general have always been expensive. Why do we have to pay to live well? Now it's becoming a glamorized product to the point where only super elite famous people are going to have access to. And in order to make it accessible to the people who aren't elite, companies and CEOs start to cut corners. But unfortunately for the lower class, that means that they get less product, less quality product. This is why in poorer neighborhoods, you tend to see food that is worse for your health. These foods have a lot more chemicals and dyes. What's even more ironic is the Kellogg CEO who said to just eat Kellogg's for dinner if you're struggling from rising grocery prices. Kellogg's recently got exposed for having trace amounts of weed killer in their cereals, so that did not age well. And unfortunately, it's not just food that's being affected by the lessening of good quality, guaranteed safety and health. If you guys will remember, recently there was a viral TikTok of an Alaskan airline flight whose door just completely went away in Portland, Oregon, which, fun fact, I live like 5 minutes away from there. Whenever something bad happens, I just assume that it's gonna be somewhere in Washington, because it just seems like this land is cursed. I want to move. The only thing that's cool about living here is that Twilight was filmed here. I love that for me. The culprit of this happening was a Boeing 737 plane. It has been cleared that this was not the fault of some sort of weird happenstance. It wasn't a freak accident. It wasn't like a wizard who disguised himself as a normal passenger who did some magic on the bolts, you know? It wasn't that, even though that would be pretty cool. It was a result of a systemic problem, specifically cutting corners and making cheaper material to make airplanes. The Boeing spokesperson Connor Greenwood says, "We are squarely focused on taking significant demonstrated action with transparency at every turn. With the next turn, the plane's gonna fall apart. There is no turns. They really do be fixing up these planes with duct tape. You don't want to die? Entitled. Sorry. I don't make the rules." Girl, you know what's bad when Spirit Airlines is safer. Jokes aside, I'm a little worried because I am going to actually be in Florida by the time that this video is posted. Hopefully I landed safely, because I'm actually going to be on a Boeing airplane. I'm actually looking into it with my family to possibly change that, because I am not willing to take any risks. When I looked into it, it'll cost $500 to switch planes. I'm paying more money to be safe. Even though it should be safe in the first place. And this is what I hate about what's going on in the world today. Safety, health, being able to save money should all be basic human rights, yet they're not. Final part, we still have some power. Also, I love cows. So here are some cows. I don't want to make anyone paranoid or make anyone feel discouraged or make anyone feel even more hopeless than what they were feeling when they first clicked on this video. That is never my intention. But I did want to make this video because it is a very real issue. Thankfully, there are a couple of solutions to these problems. First and foremost, stop being complacent and stop shopping at places like Erewhon. $12,000 grocery haul, guys. Hee. I understand you want to show everyone that you're fancy and you're rich and you're luxurious. I get it. But bestie, what you don't realize is that it is directly feeding the monster that we're all trying to kill. Pretty soon, they are going to come out with Erewhon Plus, Deluxe, the third, and they can price gouge all they want and no one will question it simply because of the status associated with it. The more that we keep enabling these brands and these companies and these CEOs to keep being greedy, then who knows how bad things will get. And things are already pretty bad. If a company like Erewhon feels comfortable enough to have the audacity to charge $60 for a small food item, and if there's people who are complacent in it, then who knows how far the pricing will go. And trust me, they will push it and they will push it, because as long as there are people going to their stores, then that shows them that that is what people want. And pretty soon, other stores will follow in their footsteps, finding ways to make us spend more, finding ways to get us on more subscriptions, and trying to find more ways that charges us for our most basic human bare minimum necessities. But it will not get that bad if we just don't stay complacent, if we call it out, and if we go with other brands who aren't doing these things. So we carry a lot of power as consumers, and we need to use that power wisely. And more specifically, we need to spend that power wisely, literally spend it wisely. I will never understand the notion of, but I feel poor going to Walmart. There's no shame in trying to save money and trying to survive, especially right now when everything is like ridiculously expensive. There will never be any shame, ever any shame in being smart with your money. What's more shameful, buying 99-cent toothpaste that's off-brand, or being Jason Nash? Because that's what a lot of y'all influencers are gonna end up being like if y'all don't stop shopping at Erewhon.
Guys, what's up? My name's Jason Nash, and this is my submission to Live Fest. I'm doing TikTok Live, and I'll be on there every day in December.
Obviously, the majority of it falls squarely on the shoulders of brands and companies. If they are going to shrink the product inside the package, then shrink the package too. Because I think I can say this for everyone, we're getting pretty tired of buying stuff that looks like there's a lot of stuff in it, and then we open it and apparently we bought air. Companies really do be out here like, oh, hair from the Lorax. It's not fair. That is my slogan for 2024. Vote me for president, because I mean, just look. There are no other options. You might as well vote me. There also needs to be regulations on these things. Apparently, there has been some stores that charge you extra for using self-checkout, and that is not considered illegal, and it's crazy. So be careful doing self-checkout. If only our government gave the amount of energy they have to ban TikTok to solve real problems such as these, but instead they're busy doing this.
Mr. Chu, does TikTok access the home Wi-Fi network?
Only if the user turns on the Wi-Fi. I'm sorry.
Wealth, status, consumerism, shrinkflation, the Kardashians using oranges, real oranges as decorations, are deeply intertwined. And this is a very bad sign, because these characteristics should not be tied to basic human necessities. We shouldn't have to pay more for health. We shouldn't have to pay more for the opportunity to live well. We shouldn't have to pay more to be safe, and we shouldn't have to pay more for stuff that isn't even good quality. I know that this seems like such an impossible, scary, huge topic to tackle, but it sounds really cheesy and basic and we hear it all the time, but it still rings true. With small steps, we all can make a difference. Small actions can lead to meaningful change. Because if we don't stop playing, we're gonna be right back to the 1800s, where food was only reserved for the wealthy and the well-off. And all I can say is that is also going to affect the influencers who pretend to be rich. It'll affect all of us one day if this keeps getting worse. And we all about to be like Oliver Twist with the, please sir, can I have some more, to the elites. And I ain't trying to do all of that, so let's definitely work together to make a change, y'all. And let's let's put these brands in a pressure cooker. Instead of Marie Antoinette saying, let them eat cake, these brands are out here saying, let them eat some Kellogg's. Alright guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to the very end of the video, make sure you comment down a duck emoji down below so I know that you watched the entire thing. That is my love language. That is our language. Remember to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can get more content like this. And click the notification bell so you know exactly whenever I upload, and you can be first to comment and I can be first to heart it. Comment down below what your opinion is on shrinkflation, greedflation, what companies can do, how influencers are dumb for shopping at Erewhon. Let me know what your thoughts are. Before I end this video, make sure to follow me on Instagram. My handle is @_Salem Tovar _. I also have a podcast, so go ahead and check that out. It's actually everywhere. It's super easy to find. The name is the Salem Tovar Podcast. I know, so creative. You can find me on Apple Music, Spotify, anywhere. Go ahead and give me 5 stars. I would really appreciate it. As well on TikTok @Salem Tovar. And honestly, that is it for today's video. Before I go, I just want you guys to have a nice day. Take a nap. Relax. Do something that requires 0 effort. And honestly, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.
That sounds good as hell to me. But again, nutrients, vitals, these are children. They need good foods to grow big and healthy. And unfortunately, Dr. Pepper is not one of the core minerals that humans need. Trust me, I am very sad about that too. I think when it comes to these conversations, we can't not talk about the obesity epidemic and how, unfortunately, in a lot of lower income homes and families, you will see this a lot, because we all know that when it comes to having food stamps and like government help, unfortunately, a lot of that only helps out with more so like unhealthy foods. However, there are so many content creators who make content surrounding being on SNAP or government assistance for food, and they make really good healthy meals, but you don't see them getting as much attention as these moms.
This is another topic that I really want to be sensitive about, because we often talk about childhood obesity and just obesity in general like it's a personal moral failure. But I just want to say, when it comes to children don't shop for the groceries or set the food budget. Their habits and their options are shaped by the adults around them and by the systems. Yes, parents play a role. Kids need guidance and balanced meals, but it's only kind of half the story. The other half we need to acknowledge, which is society makes unhealthy food cheaper and easier to get. When the daily diet is built on nutrient poor, ultra processed foods, that's kind of a nutritional neglect, which is another type of neglect that a lot of people don't talk about or consider. Kids deserve more than just calories. They deserve real nourishment and a food system that doesn't set them up to fail. I hate the argument of, at least they're being fed, mama bear. Girl, bye. The thing that bothers me the most is that when it comes to these content creator moms, they have the money to give their kids good food.
Donut Mom makes on average about $1,000 per video that she posts on TikTok, and she still can't afford AC for her kids. Because make that make sense to me.
So why make rage bait content on buying 10 packets of 10-liter sodas and giving your kids donuts and deep fried chicken for 10 days straight for content? This grocery haul for 30 pizza box mom was $400. When it comes to Donut Mom, she makes $1,000 per TikTok. She has the option to buy her kids really good food. Hell, she even has the money to pay for a proper functioning AC in her kids' room so that her kids don't cry about how hot it is inside their room.
I'm always hot in my room when I sleep in it.
I didn't say you could sleep in the living room.
I didn't not sleep in the living room, but it's hot in my room. I'm gonna be hot all night.
But you know what Donut Mom uses her spare money for instead? Ozempic.
I have lost 30 pounds on tirzepatide, and this is what I typically eat. This is my favorite cereal to eat. It's very good for you. You can click the link in my bio and get information.
And competing in plus-size pageants.
Pack with me to go to New York as a lazy mom of 3.
She also does countless sponsorships and collabs and gets commission from so many products that she promotes. However, she never discloses when things are collabs, sponsorships, or that she gets commission from certain things, which is literally illegal. Ooh, is this illegal? It feels illegal. That was my Pink Pantheress impersonation. Anyways, at this point, is this type of content truly trying to dismantle the pressure perfect image that mothers on social media face? Or at this point, is it straight up enabling mediocre parenthood? Comparative to the Nara Smiths of the internet who makes cereal and Fruit Loops from scratch, which isn't any better. I mean, I can imagine being a kid with the attention span and the hunger span of a fly. Imagine asking your mom for Takis and she pulls up with this.
My husband has a weird obsession with Takis and can't go longer than a week without having them. I combine some corn flour with some cayenne pepper, paprika, citric acid, some red beet coloring to give it that really red color.
Like, bro, these are just two ends of the same extreme, basically. For years, the ideal picture of motherhood on Instagram and especially TikTok was all sad beige toys, a $1 million home, bamboo blankets with gentle parenting captions, an elegant font that's like, McKinsley playing with her, non-red 40, anti-microplastic black toys that were made in India that I got for $5,000. Like, girl, ain't no one trying to do all that. And people got tired of it real quick because instead of these moms displaying motherhood as elevated and clean and healthy and like almost borderline crunchy, it came off as completely unrelatable, super blind to the wealth disparity and health disparity that we're seeing nowadays, as well as insanely performative. It gave the message that motherhood should be curated and immaculate, but it instead made a lot of moms online feel pressured to live up to a nearly unreachable standard of motherhood. This picture perfect model of motherhood then invited leeway to mom shaming when real life inevitably looked messier. As a reaction, people like Donut Mom and 30 Box Pizza Mom started to pop off on the internet. Posts that, in essence, and as a counterpart, screamed, "Look, I'm not a perfect mom." And that, in a way, is empowering. At first, this was a healthy rebellion. It gave moms the permission to drop the guilt and the performance of trying to be perfect all the time and to stop chasing these Pinterest ideals of motherhood. But unfortunately, social media always rewards extremes. So what began as vulnerability and trying to be like hashtag unfiltered and stuff like that eventually became something else completely. And it turned into a persona. The persona of being lazy and rage baiting your own children's meals. You know, the meals that are meant to keep them alive and their brain functioning and to keep them, you know, growing into a healthy person. Yeah, that. Performative bare minimumness became a huge thing, and I feel like not a lot of people are talking about it, but it needs to be talked about. Deliberately showing the least effort as possible when it comes to food, cleaning, and child rearing, and wearing it as a badge of empowerment and or just blocking out the haters. And a lot of these videos are just plain out shock value. These videos are designed to go viral because the chaos is so exaggerated. Brands partnering up with the hot mess mom influencers, turning disorder into a marketable aesthetic. The whole hot mess mom, lazy mom, relatable mom, it's not just moms joking that parenting is hard or showing the supposedly real life slices of parenthood. It's become a full-blown brand. Basically, it's the same exact thing that the picture perfect Instagram moms were doing, but in the opposite direction, which is just as performative and damaging. But while the brand is often sold as relatable, it always hides real, actual red flags, like kids being not taken care of, homes kept in genuinely horrifying conditions. But these red flags are ignored just for the sake of weaponized mom shaming as an excuse to not do a good job in their own homes. I can't help but think about Nurse Hannah, the mom that I did video on not too long ago, better known online as the 30 diaper mom. In her own videos, she literally bragged about leaving
dirty diapers scattered around, and admitted that she not only bites her kids, but that she doesn't change her kids' diapers when they pee.
I'm not changing my kid's diaper when they pee. I've never done that.
Instead of being treated like a cautionary tale, she was invited onto The Daily Show and was also considered a warrior of overcoming mom shaming. And despite parents like Donut Mom and 30 Pizza Box Mom thinking that this is empowering female mommy vlogger content, it's actually literally doing the opposite. It's literally just replacing one trap for the other. Instead of perfectionism, there's pressure to be a relatable mess. And/or it turns coping mechanisms into content. Genuine struggles become entertainment, rage bait, leaving little room for nuance, support, or also the room to improve and do better and learn more. Instead of blocking out the haters, maybe listen to the fact that maybe some of the stuff you are doing is not good for you or your kids in the long run and is actually not as sustainable as you think it is. Just as it's not sustainable to continuously make fruit roll-ups from scratch, have everything sad and beige, never let your kid have like a damn graham cracker nowadays, not even for their birthday. Like, that type of living isn't sustainable, but neither is letting the bare minimumness take over your life to the point where there's maggots in your food because you're just lazy and you're just, you know, you're like a chill mom. You're cool. You don't clean your house like the Nara Smiths, you know, of TikTok. Like, girl, no. You should definitely still clean and still put effort into living a pretty decent, clean life. We've gone from curated perfection to celebrated chaos without being able to pause and find the middle ground for all of this. The sad beige mom aesthetic weaponized idealism, the donut mom trend weaponized imperfection. Real empowerment isn't in either extreme, okay? It's in nuanced everyday care and how you live every day. Acknowledging hard days without glamorizing neglect and rejecting perfection without rejecting responsibility, okay? Let's talk about that. Because I've said so many times in my videos that I don't understand why so many people are convinced that dirty is synonymous with lower income and lower class. Like, y'all, just because you don't make a lot of money and stuff like that doesn't mean that your home should be like dirty as hell. I just don't understand that. It actually makes the stereotypes of people who are lower income look worse. This framing also shows how the being real and bare minimum movement can unintentionally disempower moms by making a performance out of doing the bare minimum. I think the worst thing on top of all of this is that both moms, both types of mommy vlogging content, whether it was the perfectionist sad beige side or the bare minimum side, they claim that it's all to normalize motherhood, but at the end of the day, it's the kids, their own kids on both sides that have to pay the price. Whether that price is having to constantly look a certain way in their sad beige pajamas and posing every 2 seconds for their mom's Instagram for a sponsorship, or the kid that's being used as rage bait, being fed 30 pizza boxes, not getting a good meal in who knows how long in a dirty bedroom just for their mom to also film them playing in filth for relatability content. Either way, the kids lose. And that's the problem that I have with this type of content and both sides of this type of content. Let's be real, parenting is harder right now. It is. And I'm not even a parent and I see it, especially as someone who has worked with kids and parents my whole life. Parenting is harder, period. The economy is brutal, groceries are expensive as hell, and childcare literally feels completely impossible. And what we're seeing on social media right now truly is the post-panini exhaustion spilling out onto our screens. And where there is exhaustion, we then see a rise of survival-based parenting and survival-based just living. I know so many people who just feel like they're living on autopilot right now in life and feeling like they're living a life that is just based on survival mode and fear and exhaustion and severe burnout. And burnout and exhaustion is valid and real. And especially, I feel that as a person who doesn't even have kids, I can only imagine the people who feel that way with other human beings to take care of. However, there's a difference between survival and exhaustion and burnout versus stuff like this that, let's just face it, shouldn't be normalized. I'm sorry, 30 pizzas isn't relatable. And in this economy,
Bro, it's not even cheap. If we truly want to support parents and mothers, we need more than just viral rage-baited content on TikTok, okay? We need real help. These people need real help. Affordable meal prep ideas, budget-friendly health swaps, and practical ways to manage the chaos without glorifying neglect. I will always love batch cooking recipes with cheap proteins such as beans, lentils, frozen veggies are my jam. I don't care what anyone says. Community resources are so important. Going to your local garden and food drives. These are resources that we need to talk more about online. But all I know at the end of the day, kids can't feed off of relatable content or perfectionist content. Whether your kid is a sad beige kid or a Cocomelon kid, kids deserve our best always. And no viral trend should make us forget that. My kids are already stirring up some trouble in the background. Like, I understand how it feels, y'all. I understand. You can still absolutely be a hot mess mom, buy your kids pizza every now and then, and prioritize the fact that you have burnout and stuff, or that you're maybe